Hello, guys. So, Han was going to join me, but I'm alone today. So, thanks everyone for joining me. Let's see who's here. Hi, Donna, Kathy, Sally. Hello, hello, Carol, and Heather. Hello, Carla. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Maria. Nancy, hello. Hi, Byron. Christine, welcome everybody. So while I'm working, I can't really see your comments. So I jump from like working to the comments. So you guys want to ask questions, feel free. Hanny's under the weather today. So if you guys want to send her a little message, cheer her up. She's going to be out of commission for, I think, about 3 weeks. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Camille. Liza. Hello. Hi, Sherry. Oh, thank you, Heather. I don't wear it a whole lot. I like in my life I do, but on the lives I try to be a little bit more bright. If you know. Hello, Sal. Okay. So today I'm using cutters from that 101 toolbox there. And you can find that at Global Belly if you guys want to order. And this is last month's, the 101. This month you have the snowflake with the red and green. So if you subscribe to get the monthly toolboxes, you're going to receive that red and green bundle. And if you want, you can go like in the older ones to catch up if you want some of the tools from previous months. So let me just turn on my camera here. Let's put that there. Of course, I'm getting these lines. I don't know if you guys see that. Okay. Yes, poor Han is right. She was in a mad blitz trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done. I think she pushed herself a little bit too much, unfortunately. That's it when you work for yourself, right? You try to be as productive as you can. Yes, I'll pass it along. Okay, so I'm working on Mr. and Mrs. These little gingerbread men. Are you guys getting these lines? For me, I'm looking at my preview like screen and it's like pixelated a bit. So hopefully you guys are getting a better image. I am hardwired, so I don't know why that's happening. She posted on her story, Sally. I don't know. It's something to do with her shoulder. I'm not exactly sure the name of it, of the injury. Okay, so these are little gingerbread men. I don't dislike a gingerbread man cookie, one or, I don't really would eat like a whole bag or platter of them. So these are chocolate that I decorated in royal icing. So these are chocolate cookies. The recipe to my chocolate cookie is in the group. And so I'm just using gingerbread colored icing as opposed to using gingerbread cookies to add my base layer. Now, this particular shape comes in 2 sizes in that 101 cutter set. So this is the bigger size. At Christmas, you can get away with much larger cookies since it's kind of like gifts, right? So if you're giving a cookie as a gift, this is more significant presentation than if you were to give like a small cookie that is the size that you would serve at a party, for example. You want to have maybe something a little bit more substantial if you're giving it as a gift. So these guys are, here, let me have my ruler here. This is 14 centimeters tall. So they're pretty big. I don't know if you guys saw my story on Instagram. I shared how I made these little Christmas trees. So there's a candy corn under there. All right, so let's do the girl first, all right? Ladies first. So here she is. The image is clear. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm probably gonna have to switch up my piping tip just because my stuff has been sitting here on my work and the tip gets clogged, as you guys know. So I'm just gonna quickly switch that out so that my icing can come out. And I'm just getting a paper towel. All right, so for the, you can ice the dress at the same layer, like level as the brown. So you would essentially outline where you want the dress to be and then flood in sections. But I like the look of the green on top of the gingerbread man. So that's why that's like that. Hello, Fabiola, Angie, hello. So right here at the armpit, my cookie has an armpit. I'm just adding this little curved line. Same thing on this side here. So the little shoulder strap I'm creating right here. All right. And then I'm just going to essentially finish the round of the head. Just like that. Okay. And for the feet, I made some transfers. So I'm just going to put them there so that I can see where I don't want to put the icing. So for her little feet, they're like that. And I'm just finishing outlining the skirt or the dress here. Just like that. So you can outline in white if you want. I'm doing this kind of like, it's grayish. It's a grayish color. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Susan. Oh, that's a good timing, eh, Angie? You had this requested. If they have like maybe something specific, you could kind of like, you know, character trait you could do, like, you know, I don't know, let's say somebody has red hair, let's say maybe you could do the little thing on the head red or something like that. And now I've got a relatively runny icing. So when you're flooding large cookies, you ideally are working with a slightly runnier icing because it's so much larger. It can already start crusting, you know, because it's just bigger, and it can be a little tricky to work flooding a large cookie. So if you're a beginner, you're probably better to work with the dam, which is what I just added. That is the perimeter. The dam is holding in a runnier icing, and then flood. Because if you're working with the hybrid on a large cookie, you might find that as you kind of finalize your design that the icing has already started to crust over, and it can be a little bit tricky to kind of like smooth it out and stuff. So something to think about, like the gingerbread man, when I did them, the brown, the icing was also slightly runnier because, like I say, it does, you know, because it's big, it takes time to get all the way around the cookie. And then if there's not a lot of detail, you can also work with a larger hole, but factor in that if you have fine detail to do after, you're probably going to have to rebag or change. If you have piping tips, adjust the size of the hole, because if you have a really big hole and runny icing, it's very difficult to do fine detail. Okay, and you want to have everything connect to that perimeter line, and you can let this crust over. If you're doing like a decorating party, you can, depending on the skill level of the people that are doing the decorating, you can have this on or not. You know, if it's younger kids and maybe people without any decorating experience, you want to get it on and they can just stick on the royal icing transfers, which I'll show you in a second. So you can see there in the reflection, the icing is smoothing out. So for the rest of the elements, it's transfers, and I actually added the template in all the groups, so they're there. And also I added it, if you purchased the royal icing transfers from the coffee shop, I added it to that coffee shop. So even if you already bought it, you should be able to download it. Like if you go back to your email that you receive, it's in there. So send me a message if you're not getting it, but I added it to that if you guys bought the $10 for 10 royal icing transfers last week. Okay, And so you can see here, I made the sheet with the colors, and you can obviously work in any color you want, but I added them like in rows for each gingerbread man. So the gingerbread man has 2 eyes, a nose, little cheeks, the bow, whether it be a bow tie or a head bow, little buttons, and then the girl has the little shoes. So these are pretty straightforward. They're just dots. So if you're making little kits, the people who don't know how to decorate cookies, at the end of the day, they just want a nice finished product. They don't really want to know a whole lot. Anyway, like generally, they don't really want to know how to decorate cookies. They just want to have fun. It's more of an activity than a class when you do these kits for, you know, just like a little kind of party thing. So if you have the transfers made, well, they're just essentially gluing them. It's like these card making parties, if you've ever seen that. It's not about skill. The people get all the little elements and they just glue them on the cards. So these types of activities, you know, you have to kind of gauge your audience. If you need something, you know, just the skill required to assemble whatever you're making, okay? So here, let me see. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Sharon. Limey Pam, Sally. Yes, it's organized. I wanted it to be so that you could count how many you need. I do use a dehydrator to kind of just crust the top layer of the icing, absolutely. All right, so for the bow tie, that's the one that is a bit like different. So I'm adding a perimeter on the bow tie just so that it really holds its shape. So I have the line like that, and then I can just quickly flood because the gray outline's a little bit stiffer. And then once this has had time to crust, you can add the knot after. Okay, you don't want to add the knot right now because it'll sink in. So if you want that knot to be a little bit out, well, you have to let this crust over so that when you add the knot, it's a little bit higher up. Next, the buttons. Let me just put them in the picture here. I don't know if you guys can see the buttons have little like black dots. So if this is so small. When you're working on small things, piping is really difficult. So those are actually black nonpareils that I added to the icing to create those little black dots. And I find that when you're working on really small things, it is finicky, but it's what kind of gives the best finished result, okay? So I'm just switching up my tip again because, like I said before, my stuff has been sitting around. All right, so let me just zoom in maybe for this. Let's see how this is going to look. All right, so for the buttons, it's just you're filling in the size of the hole here. You can make them in any color, and you can make buttons for other things. They're super pretty in the middle of a flower, for example. If you're doing, you know, kind of like a different style, you can do that. All right, so now the trick, you don't want to be picking up your sprinkles with tweezers. That takes a long time. So I just dip my needle in the icing and that tip gets sticky. You don't even need, you barely need any icing. And then it's sticky enough to pick up a nonpareil sprinkle. A nonpareil sprinkle is a sphere. Jimmies are like rice. These are like little balls, okay? And you see, because it's just very, it's so light, you don't, you know, and then you can pick it up. And this is what I'm using on my mini gingerbread man transfers as their buttons, like the actual buttons. You can use these as eyes if you're making small transfers, because if you start with icing, it's really difficult to get such a fine dot. And then the other thing, you can use a marker, but this gives it like a different kind of look. You can see there. So we've got that. The cheeks, you can do either a dot for the cheeks, or you can do a heart. So the dot is a dot. It's not, you know, just a circle, little dollops for the cheeks, or a heart. So I'm just rotating. So for the heart, you're doing a tear shape. So you squeeze, create a little burst. As you pull away, you release the pressure and it creates like a little little tear shape, and then you do it again on the other side, and they meet up, and it makes a perfect little heart. So you could actually make a ton of these, and these make really cute little like confetti. Maybe you want to make a piñata cookie for Valentine's Day. You can use these up. So you see, you're just cranking out. So you can do either little circles for the cheeks, or you can do these little hearts. I really like the hearts for the cheeks. I find it adds a little degree of cuteness. So we have the cheeks. The nose is basically the button without the sprinkles. It's just a little oval. So I'm just squeezing, creating my little red, and you can use a jelly bean. The thing is about the jelly bean is you have to add the jelly bean while the icing is wet. And then the last element are the eyes. And the size of the eyes change the look of your character. So you want to maybe play around with what you kind of want your little character to look like. I don't love tiny beady eyes. I find the bigger kind of kawaii looking eyes make the little character look a little friendlier. So you can pipe in white if you want to have a reflection, or you can use the white nonpareils in the same way and just add one, and it makes like a little reflection in your dots. Okay. What Susan's saying. Yes, absolutely. The thing is you can make all your transfers now, because I'm not going to lie, it is a little time consuming. So here I had put together just a little video to show you guys. This is a bit sped up so you can see. You can just crank out all your little elements. You can make the ties in a variety of colors. They can be also bows for, let's say, a wreath or things like that. And then your eyes, you can use them for other cookies. And so once you're done, you can either detach them from the plastic backing, or you can leave them on there and stack them in like a, you can get a container that's about the size of a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, and you can just layer them in there. And I actually like leaving them on the backing. I find that they stay like, just tidy in a stack like that. And you can pull them out when you're ready to use them, okay? So I'm just going to move these out of the way. So ideally, I like to work, as you see, on a clipboard. The clipboard, you can buy a clipboard at the dollar store. You can get a few of them, and it holds, the clip holds the sheet. And also when you want to move them out of the way, they don't flop around, because let's say you're working and you pick up your floppy paper, well, you could cause some of them to crack. So this holds them flat so that they'll have time to dry and won't get damaged. Hi, Cynthia. All right, so let's just peel these guys off. So all the backings, depending on your location, depends. Some are easier to release than others. I find that this works really well. My parchment paper works really well. Here, for me, what I struggle with is wax paper. I find the wax paper does not release very well. So I'm just gently nudging my little decorations off, like so. When you work on plastic, you can even use the back of your transfers. They dry so flat that you can even use the back. They're like almost shiny on the back, okay? So let's bring our cookie in to frame. I'm going to, here, let's continue with the misses. I'm just going to zoom out. All right. So I'm working in a big tip, a 4, for these details. I did pipe them on a sheet protector. If you're making several, maybe parchment paper, but the sheet protector is great because you can, once you've printed them, the printing is expensive, ink is expensive. You can have them in a binder to save them for next time. And yeah, and they stay nice and flat and, in order, because if you just leave them, they can get like a little wrinkled and stuff. And ideally you're using parchment paper or whatever you're using, not in a roll. So they sell parchment paper, flat parchment paper. I find the roll one can be a little problematic because it tends to really curl, right? And so you need the stuff to be flat. Hello, Nana, Sue, hello. All right, so here's my girl. I'm going to add her shoes first, just so that I know where to put my little skirt detail. And I added a perimeter around this white dot just to match the skirt, like the dress area. And you can just make little, like if you're doing, like I said, the cookie decorating kits, often the people who are receiving them don't know how to decorate cookies. And at the end, how their finished product looks kind of determines how much they like the kit, if you understand what I'm saying. So if they have a not nice finished result because they don't have experience, they don't think that way. They're like, this was not a success because my thing, isn't nice. My finished product isn't nice. They don't think about, well, you don't know how to do it. That's why it's not nice. Not because the kit's not good. But if you give them all the pre-made parts and all they have to do is glue them together, and at the end they have a beautiful cookie, then they're happier. If that makes sense. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say. Thank you. All right, so now I'm doing, like I said, this is a 4, and I'm just finalizing the edge of the skirt here. So I'm doing a wiggly, kind of like a rickrack ribbon around the edge of the skirt here, right on the edge. And it's kind of hiding the black line, and it's just finalizing the little dress. And then at the collar as well. So same thing right here. This little kind of wiggly line like that. And on the head, we see the gingerbread men, they have like a crown kind of also in icing. And I don't like to have it, if you've ever heard me, I don't like to have it very straight. This is supposed to be a round head. So I like to have it kind of like arced, like an arc across. So just a wiggly line across the head like that. So while the icing is wet, I'm going to secure one of the bows. And you want to do that while the icing is wet so that it can squish into the icing as you secure it onto the cookie. If you attach it after the white has dried, chances are it will rest like kind of in the air and it can snap in two. Okay. Now for the face, the thing also that's great about this is if maybe you're artistically challenged slightly, you're not sure where to put your features. Well, the thing is you can kind of put them on without gluing them to decide how you want them. Now, ideally, here, I'm just going to show you. So if you measure from this area, you would put the nose, so it's a bit of an oval shape. You're putting it dead center between these two lines. And then the eyes, I like to have the eyes, if you look at the edge of the nose, I like to have the eyes kind of like at, the edge of the nose like that. You see it? It's kind of like one of those eyebrow tutorials. So you're measuring like the nose there, and that's kind of like where you want to have your features. And then the cheeks would go about at the same height as the nose. So you can kind of like play around and see how it looks before you secure them on. So that's a good thing, again, if you're a little artistically challenged to, get a better finished result. Look like a veil. The veil, what I've seen is you can airbrush in white. So if you airbrush in white, you can get like a veil looking, and you could maybe do the back of the gingerbread girl, and her veil is like behind maybe. All right, so I'm just adding a tiny dot to secure my pieces. So you don't need a whole lot of icing. These are really small things. So you don't need a mountain of icing to glue this stuff on. And now I'm just going to position my little elements. My tweezers don't open wide enough to hold it. So there. I'm just gently, you want to kind of like rock it into the icing to get it to sink in there. The reflection, you want to try to get the reflection, both of them on the same side, okay? And you can adjust. If you don't have too much icing, you can adjust without it oozing out. Ideally, I usually say to have your glue icing the same color as your base, so that if there is oozing out, that it isn't that visible, Do some sketches, Angie, and you'll get, you know, I'm sure if you Google on Pinterest, there's people who have done this before. And now a little dot for my little heart cheeks. So I'm just securing that. And you could pipe them on there if you want, but like the point of this is we're thinking Christmas, we're thinking gifts. So of course you can make these to gift them made, but if you want to create a fun activity, like a cute little kind of thing, if you have children, grandkids, and now here I'm adding a little dollop of icing for, so if you're putting these together at your house, you can obviously use M&Ms or things like. Hello? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Is that working? Hello, hello? Is that working, guys? Sound is gone. All right, let's try over here. What about now? Sorry, guys. Why would that happen, you know? So can you guys tell me where I stopped? What did you guys miss? Where did I stop explaining? So I said that I use the wiggly line to attach my little transfer. The buttons, I was talking about using softer things so that you don't hurt your teeth or that your recipients don't hurt themselves. So a lot of the sprinkles are very tough, hard. So if you make royal icing transfers, that's a soft bite, or you can use like an M&M or something like that. Another thing is the sixlets at the cheeks. The cheek that far about the heart cheeks. Jeez. I was saying about the heart cheese. Now I don't remember. That's too far in my own memory. So wiggly line for the little cuffs that I glued on my little transfer. That's from the templates from the royal icing, the 10 sheets there. Here, let me just show them. That's available in my coffee shop. That template is there. And then the cheeks, I'm not sure what I said. I have absolutely no memory. Okay, so it's pretty much done. So now you can finalize. You can pipe the mouth. I do like a marker for the mouth. I like a fine line. And I do like little eyebrows on my gingerbread man or girl there. Okay, and then the mouth, you can commit to, you have to practice on a paper, just like, and then you want to commit, because if you do a line and you're wiggly and everything, it's not going to be as nice. And if you have a break in it and you stop, so ideally you commit to the line. So you're visualizing the shape you want to do your line. Maybe you want to do it on paper and then just commit to it. So now I'm just going to do like the smile from the 2 points of the heart, like that. Okay. And that's it. It's silent again. No, I have my Zoom. Are you guys able? Oh, it's probably not, because of the delay. It's probably because of the delay. I think I'm fine. My sound is back. All right. So here is the girl. So let's move on to Mr. Gingerbread. All right. So very similar, just a few little differences. So no feet per se. The bow, it's the same bow, but this time it's on the neck. And again, the same face things. You can, if you want, change it up, but I do like that they're essentially the same, even though that they're different. You know what I mean? You can make different colored buttons if you want, but the more colors you make, the more work it is, right? So if you can keep it somewhat all the same kind of tones, you're making less stuff. It can be a little bit more profitable and also less stressful. If you have to make a ton of stuff, it gets, it's a lot. Every color you have to mix is a lot. So here I've made brown, I made the red, the green, the black, and then the white, uncolored icing. So let's start here. I'm going to do on the feet, I'm going to do the wiggly lines. So the classic kind of gingerbread man feature, right? These wiggly lines. So on the other side, here we go, like that. And then the same thing on the head. I'm going to do that little arc around the head, like that. The bow, about here, I'm just going to add a little line. All right, so now I've got my little bow on. You want to gently rock it. If you press into it, you could snap it. So you should always make extra more than you think you're going to need, just because they're fragile and they can break. And sometimes also you have some duds. Some don't turn out as well. Like this one here is a bit weird, so I'm just going to move it to the side. So there's my two little buttons. He's cross-eyed. Yeah, I haven't glued them on yet. So let's get the nose on. So there, you can pipe all this right on the cookie, right? But I'm doing it like this to show you guys if you were to do a little decorating kit. So there, and my eyes, to secure my eyes, I'm just adding a little dot of icing. And same thing, I'm kind of aligning the eyes based on the nose, and on my reflections are both on the same side. There. It is a mixed blessing for sure. So now just a tiny dot on either side for my cheeks. Again, I'm doing the hearts. You can get really cute little confetti hearts that work well. If you want to, sometimes they're sold like in a rainbow set, but you can pick out the heart, the pink ones, and use that. And there he is. And I'm going to grab one of my candy corn trees that I made. If you look on Instagram, I saved it in my highlights. I made some Christmas trees out of candy corn left over from Halloween. And again, I'm adding that little cuff and I'm securing my tree in that wet icing there. I think I'm going to add a little bit more because it's a bit of a heavy decoration. I'm just adding a bit more icing to the back to make sure it glues on. Okay. Thank you, Deborah. So I'm just adding my little eyebrows. The gingerbread is warm brown, just right out of the bottle. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Denise. And then again, you commit to your smile. So some people like a little U smile right under the nose. I do like this. So you make it how you like. And there's our the little couple. I'm gonna bring my girl back in. So you can package these with, let me zoom out. You could package these with some Lindt or holiday chocolates. You can package them with like a drop cookie. Doesn't have to all be decorated because the drop cookies take a little bit less time. And so, or yes, or with actual candy canes, you know, you could package them with whatever. And another thing too, you could package them like a cookie is nice with a little maybe $5 gift card you could do for coffee or something like that. And for Christmas, especially in a larger scale like this, if you want to use boxes, boxes are more expensive, but they do give like a more kind of fancy presentation, you know? And so I just want to show you here, I'm going to pull this out to show you another option of a thing you could pair. You see here, I made a little snowflake with the same colors left over, and then a little gingerbread man. You know, you can, almost any cookie can be any theme. You're in the driver's seat, so you can do whatever you want to do, you know, like whatever decoration you want to do. I don't have, oh, here, I wanted to show you guys this. I made also some t-shirts, but not really going to decorate them now, but just wanted to show you. I was talking about this so you can add, you know, your little transfers to your little Christmas t-shirt and write a little message or something. These are a great size for school. If you want to send something maybe to school, you could add the little Santa that I showed the other day. That there, you see, if you guys watched the last live, you can see the little tutorial how to make the little Santa. All right, so let's see here. Lori, thank you. Oh, that's a cute idea. The bouquet, yes, absolutely. And the little, you could do a little pocket with the flowers. That would be an easy thing to kind of size if you wanted to do it as a transfer. So you could have like maybe, or a little handkerchief. Yeah, I like the coloring too. This is a very dark chocolate. I use berry cocoa and it's very dark. Yes, you can, absolutely. Another option, if you don't want to mix a ton of colors, you can make them white and airbrush them. You can airbrush your royal icing decorations. Thank you, Kathy. Yes, it would. The back would make it pop if it was in chocolate. Yes, I prefer this look on the t-shirt than all one color. I actually find it makes it look more like a t-shirt. For what it, like the when it's all one color, I find it takes away, like it's tough with cookies to define what they are sometimes. His legs grew back. Yes, yes, yes. No, he fits. Last time he didn't fit. That's why I had to karate chop his legs off. Why the coffee is not $5? Your coffee is more than that. You can get a regular coffee for less than $5 if you're not going to Starbucks, I guess. So that's it, guys, for today. So again, I'm just gonna do my little spiel. If you guys want to check out our gingerbread houses at Global Belly, if you'd like to decorate a gingerbread house, we've got the toolboxes available. And I did the test. If you guys are looking for supplies, is practically double if you buy all of the supplies in the bundles via Amazon. So I priced out the last one, I think it was $85 on Amazon, and this is 45 and the shipping is included. So they are a good deal. So those are at Global Belly. And Han has a couple more classes if you guys want to go check out the link in her bio. I think this is one of her classes. If you guys check out the link in her bio on Instagram. It is, seriously. I don't know if you guys can hear me. To finish like that, it's just annoying. I have to tell you, it is just annoying. I don't know why it's doing this to me. Yes, I am. So I'm sorry, guys, about the technical difficulties. It's really, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm over here not touching anything, and the thing is happening. So, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me, and I hope it was useful and you learned something today. And thank you so much for joining me. And I'll be back on Tuesday with potentially, I'm thinking it's actually going to be a bit of a Thanksgiving project on Tuesday. Or no, I'm not even. I think it might be Amber working. Come to think of it, on Tuesday. So yes, I think Amber's in the hot seat. So thanks again, guys. And if you're just tuning in, you can watch the replay. I'll see you guys next week. All right. Bye, everybody.